I'll tell you what this is not. This is not another Scorpio Shotgun build. This is not your typical Hunter's Fury Memento build. Nope, this is an off-meta, no shield-based tank NPC stomper. This is a super hybrid meant for ultimate speed and destruction. It has everything: amplified power, super heals, armor on kill, bonus armor, status effects, and no reload chain killing. I'm going to show you how to make an absolute exhilarating build with gear pieces you probably already have. And we're starting right now. The Scorpio has its purposes, I suppose, but let's admit that it's sort of a crutch weapon. It's meant to buy time for builds that don't have the DPS to burn down the enemy fast enough. If you do have the DPS, using the Scorpio is sort of redundant. Why not just kill them and get them out of the way instead of thud stun them to death? There are shotguns that do the job easily, but they usually have a huge drawback, and that's the time to reload. Well, this build is going to give you all of the great things a shotgun has to offer without the negative. The Tsunami is not a new weapon by any means, but it is unfortunately overlooked by the majority of the player base, including me. A subscriber recently suggested I do a build video on it because he was having a ton of fun, so I thought I'd give it a crack. My usual go-to is the Marine Super 90 shotgun. It hits hard, it's super fast, but the reload is no bueno. But I'm having a blast with the Tsunami, and I'd run this over the Scorpio any day on a run and gun build. Let's take a look. So this named shotgun comes with perfect pummel, which is only for shotguns. 2 consecutive kills refill the mag and gives you 40% weapon damage for 10 seconds. Let's think about that. That's a lot of damage and a lot of time. The build I have in store for you gives you lots of goodies on kill, so this weapon synergizes nicely. More importantly, that mag refill allows you to chain kill so you can get to the spawn and mow down the enemy. And we're going to be doing that without a shield and only 1.1 million armor, which is far from being a tank. We're wearing the Hunter's Fury chest piece. This set is a no-brainer for shotguns. I did try builds without it, but the perks with the set just outweighs the other options. Now this isn't going to be your typical Hunter's Fury build, I warn you, so pay attention. We're gonna rainbow this bad boy all the way through. I have repair skills and protection from elites. If you don't have 13% protection from elites, don't sweat it. Protection from elites is only a part of this build. It's part of the Invisishield system that we'll get into in just a moment. So let's set aside the secondary attributes for a moment and discuss the talent. Hunter's Fury gives us 45% total amplified weapon damage once it's fully stacked. The chest piece has Endless Hunger, which increases the duration of those stacks to 30 seconds from 10 seconds. You don't want to use Intimidate with this build. That will only come in handy when you basically have all your enemies standing in line for their meal ticket to the all-you-can-eat shotgun pellet buffet. But in control points, the enemies can be pretty spread out, and if you want to go quickly, you need to go to them and not wait for them to come to you. That means you're going to be in the open taking hits on your approach. By the time you get to the enemy, your bonus armor will likely be exhausted and Intimidate will then be inactive. Now if you run Adrenaline Rush, that will work out okay, but we're not going to be doing that, and I'll show you why in a little bit. My point is, Endless Hunger doesn't rely on bonus armor and is always active even if you're taking damage, and it's easy to maintain since its build kills quickly. So we have our amplified damage. A shotgun build's weak point is distance, and in most builds with this kind of damage, you'd be shredded before you got to optimal range. And if you had a shield, you'd be super slow, drawing more damage, and by the time you got to your destination, your shield would be toasted. We're relying on our trusty Invisishield here, which is a layered system of protection and armor regeneration that enables us to cross the terrain and take all sorts of damage, but be in a confident state upon arrival. You see, having a ton of armor isn't going to help us here because they chew through 2 million as fast as they do 1 million. So it's not how much armor you have, but how fast you can recover. That's the same in close range or long. This build can take a lot of punishment, and because it has serious heals, you're back in the fight in no time. Let's jump into the backpack real quick before we get ahead of ourselves. As you could probably tell from the footage, we're running the Memento. Now, I know some of you are tired of seeing this on builds, but believe me, I tried the other options first and this is just simply best on slot for this build. That's mostly because it rewards us on kill, and we're utilizing all the rewards to the fullest with this build. So the Tsunami jumps 40% weapon damage when you get your consecutive kill. The Memento is giving us 25% more weapon damage on top of that just for picking up a single trophy. But when you chain kill and activate Pummel, you're grabbing 2 trophies for 50% more weapon damage, and so on. So we're at 90% weapon damage. When the backpack is at full stacks, we're also getting another 30% weapon damage. Each trophy also gets us bonus armor, which is part of the Invis shield system and lets us take some heat while we're dishing it too. And we're getting skill efficiency, which is powering up our dual healer skills. Now the protection from elites is helping our bonus armor stay up longer, as well as our base armor. And this is part of the Invis shield because it also helps buy time for our skill repairs to do their work. As you can see, they're so strong they don't need more than a second or two and we're back in the fight.
Rogue agent neutralized.
The mask isn't maxed out, but that's okay. As you can see, it's a tasty rainbow. Hunter's Fury is also giving us 20% armor on kill, so when we're surrounded and taking pain, we just need to bring one full down. Then we get the bonus armor, damage amplifiers, skill repair boost, while we top off our armor with armor on kill. We also are getting 3% armor regen when Memento is fully stacked. All this gives us a few seconds to be a bullet sponge. Now remember, we're doing all of this with only 1.1 million armor. The gloves have more skill repair, and so does the holster. So this build shreds and has amazing survivability, but it doesn't mean you can just stand around. The point is speed. I didn't want to run a shield because it slows you down. So you need to be playing your angles, running, diving, popping in and out of cover when it makes sense to do that. And that's why I hate Riot Foam. It's basically the worst thing that can happen to you, right? For the knee pads, I decided to go improvise for the additional protection from elites. You can put a Badger Tough piece here if you like, but I'm getting enough damage. I wanted to support going shieldless and support my recovery speed. Go with Survivalist. You don't need Gunner since the gear set is giving you enough armor on kill. Survivalist gives you 10% protection from elites and the Mender Seeker Mine. The Seeker heals us at 51,000 before Memento's skill efficiency perks. That'd take us around 65,000 heals per second or so. The Fixer Drone does close to the same. We have over 130,000 heals per second. The armor regen for Memento is about 40,000, give or take, on top of that. So yeah, you don't need Gunner. You might be tempted to go for crits. I tried it, it was okay. Of course you get a little power, but the crits take up all the attribute space. We don't have much in the first place because of the Memento backpack and the gear set's limited attribute space. Notice Hunter's Fury focuses on raw damage and amplified damage, not crits. So I synergized the build around that instead of trying to force crits on here. With SMGs, it's different because they have all the crit chance you need already on the gun. Shotguns come with diddly squat. All in all, we ended up with 61% protection from elites. That's a nice place to be with this level of armor and heals we have. You can see here that all these pieces aren't hard to come by. They're all available in the current season rewards track. Don't worry about the max protection from elite mods. Protection from elites is not the point of this build. That's just part of the Invis shield system. If you like this build, then you will like this Virginian build. It's basically like driving a Mack truck into the enemy's face. Tuxedo out.